Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the DDI Racing League here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We are here for the second ever exhibition race for this brand new league here on the Vortex Racing Network. My name is Zach Panzarella, and I've got a brand new tag team partner here with me this week for this league. I've got Buddy Sallee here with me. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm definitely looking forward to broadcasting this race with you. Charlotte's a fun track. Never know what's going to happen, so one of those tracks that not really a super speedway, but a lot of stuff can happen really fast.
Yeah, Charlotte definitely one of those tracks that can be very tempting, kind of similar to where we were last week, which was Kansas Motor Speedway. Zach Panzarella, yours truly, taking home the win there in the inaugural Daily Drivers Inc. race in a competitive, all-green, caution-free race, but very similar to Kansas is this track in the way that, man, buddy, it is so tempting to go hard on those tires early in the run, but this track will make you pay for it if you do that.
Yeah, one of the things, early in the runs, the trucks and the cars and everything, they can feel super comfortable, and it'll feel comfortable for 5 or 6 laps, and then it kind of goes away, and you end up getting really tight, and then you're putting more wheel into it because you're trying to keep it off of the wall, and then the next thing you know, it's snapping loose on the exit. It can be a handful.
Yeah, this 1.5 mile track, not for the weak. I really wish, as much as I don't hate the Roval, but man, I wish NASCAR in real life raced here more, because this place really separates the men from the boys. I really think, buddy, this is a track good enough to host the championship race if they were to still race that Final Four format. That's how much I think talent really sticks out here at Charlotte.
Yeah, I like the old school all-star races that they did here.
Oh yeah.
And their qualifying and stuff, just ripping it down pit road. Super fun track.
Oh my gosh, the iconic keep your foot in it, keep your foot in it. Line is from the all-star race.
Locking the brakes up halfway down pit road.
Yep. Oh my gosh, I remember Kyle Larson trying that and just, yeah, missing it by only like 14 stalls. Really, really close. But okay, let's talk a little bit about who we got here today. We're about halfway through practice. Don't worry, guys. We're not going to go a full 27 minutes until we bring you guys to the caution. These guys will be wrapping up soon. But we have some familiar faces here today in terms of last week, and we have some new faces already. The one sticking out to me, Buddy Sallee here, making his debut in this league. That's an MRL Cup Series champion. Another one coming over is Stephen Kirby, all the way on the bottom there in 16th place. He just got to to practice, so don't let that time right there deter you. He is a runner-up multiple times in the Precision Racing League Truck Series, and he also has, I believe, 7 wins over there. I think he ranks 4th all-time in wins in the PRL Truck Series. That's how hard it is to win over there. That's a series that was around for about 15 years. So Stephen Kirby, someone that I expect to be running really, really close to the front today, buddy. And then I think another few names that are sticking out to me. We got Ryan Newman. No, not the real Ryan Newman before you ask, but still a really cool name that you and I get to see every week. I've raced against him, and how excited are you to say Ryan Newman a few times today?
No, that'll be super exciting. I was always a Ryan Newman fan in NASCAR and stuff. It always seemed like he had the worst end of the stick. Definitely some big crashes in NASCAR, but he's definitely one tough guy. Definitely a fan of Ryan Newman.
Ryan Newman was definitely the hardest man to pass ever in the sport. There is no question about that. But he's missed, and man, I thought he's one of those drivers that I thought I didn't like very much, buddy. And then Daytona happened. We don't have to talk too much about what that was like. And that kind of changed my mind about him. I was like, you know what? I actually kind of like this guy a lot. So here we are now in qualifying now. And that is Christopher Calgill on screen right now. So what would you be focused on here, as there's last week's winner on screen as well, that Daily Drivers Inc. Chevy Silverado. So, buddy, your approach at this, a track like this, especially this today, another transition race. We're going to be finishing this one underneath the stars, but right now it's not as cool as it's going to be later. I'll leave it at that. So what would your approach be here in qualifying?
My approach in qualifying, the track's probably a little warm. a little bit slippery, kind of like the Zach Panzarella is doing right now, kind of that outlap ripping the top, trying to get as much momentum as you can. These trucks are all about momentum, and then that first lap, you kind of want to maintain that momentum and get a little bit of heat in the tires, and then the money lap's going to be lap 2. That's the one where you're just going to hang it all out on the line, rip the bottom, and hope you can get the exits on both ends of the track.
And as you can tell, that is lap 2 for Panzarella, using the bottom of the track. Yeah, you would know if it was lap 1, as Panzarella puts it on the top right there. The only one in practice that was in the the 0.7 range was Panzarella, and he does the same there in qualifying. So that's looking good for him, but I completely agree with you. This was a second lap, hot lap, and you can see a lot of these guys doing the same as Dalton Geyer finishes up his lap. Here is Patrick Cowgill. I believe he's on his second lap, or actually I think he maybe cashing in some extra laps. This guy's given 10 minutes to qualify today. Believe they have a driver's meeting scheduled for the last bit of it. There's one of our new rookies here, Juan Delgado. Very new to iRacing, and also very new to league racing as a whole, obviously, but made a good impression last week. And there's Graham McGivern on screen there. Graham McGivern, former Daily Driver, or not a former, Daily Drivers Inc. driver over on Thursday nights. It'll be interesting to see where he finds his home, whether it be Daily Drivers Inc. or a new team that he forms this year. But Graham McGivern, a fun one to watch.
There's a couple of names here that I kind of recognize from other places. McGivern's one of them. I've been in some races with him. Hillman, Novella's a strong competitor usually. So there is some names in this group that I do recognize from other places.
So a lot of leagues, I described this one yesterday, for me especially, buddy, like this league and being one of the admins of it, it kind of feels like a bachelor party when you bring a bunch of different friend groups together and you're like, oh boy, I hope they all get along, but you're also very excited to bring all your favorite people together. It's kind of what this league feels like. A lot of top guys from different leagues coming together to form up what's so far made up DDIRL. The leagues that are coming top of mind right now, we've mentioned Precision Racing League already. Patrick Cowgill, Colton Easterday, Stephen Kirby, Edward Peltz, who was here last week and will be a full-timer here, all descendants, Ryan Newman as well, descendants of the Precision Racing League. And then you have MRL, that has guys like Matt Novella, Graham McGivern, Zach Panzarella, Dalton Geyer come from both those leagues as well, PRL and MRL. And then you even have some BRL guys. And actually, since we're bringing up BRL, definitely less of the BRL guys this week. And I think a lot of them with heavy hearts today, potentially not in the mood to race. We want to send our condolences out to the Dennis Puckett family. A horrible, horrible loss for the BRL community and for the sim racing community as a whole. The founder of the Sunday Cup Series that I have the privilege of covering with Dalton Geyer over there on their network. So someone that I had gotten to know pretty well over the past few years, and just want to send my condolences out to the entire BRL community, to the Puckett family, and he's going to be extremely, extremely missed. And I know he was a friend of yours as well, buddy. Is there anything you'd like to say before we move on about that?
Yeah, it's a horrible thing what happened. I raced with him on a team for 4 or 5 seasons or something like that, so definitely thoughts and prayers out to his friends and his family, and it's definitely a big loss for all these different racing leagues and networks and everything that he was a part of. Yeah,
and we're going to do our best to carry on the legacy of that number 12 car. I feel a huge privilege that I share that number with him. That number will be, we'll have a tribute race to him this year, obviously, and I will not be running the number 12 for that race. But we'll be doing our best to carry on the honor and the incredible people that he brought together in BRL, that we're lucky enough to have a few of them in this league, and we definitely feel that responsibility to carry on his legacy that way. And I'll personally do my best on Sundays to do that as well. But thinking about you all day today, Dennis, and many, many years and days going forward. But moving on to more positive things, buddy. Looks like everyone has put in their qualifying laps, which will give us a good opportunity to take a look at our results of qualifying. And let's see if I'm able to pull that up yet. I might have to just do it the old. Oh, no, there they are. So putting it on the pole this week, a lot different than last week, that's for sure. Zach Panzarella with, like we said, the only one in the .7s. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Patrick Calgill only 2,000s behind Panzarella, so close. And man, Patrick Calgill, it's been the story so far this year between those two, which is unfamiliar for me because it's been years of it the other way around, buddy. I'll tell you that much. Third place belonging to Dalton Geyer, so Daily Drivers Inc. right there, 1-3. Fourth place, Colton Easterday, and fifth place, Stephen Kirby. So that's an all PRL top 5 right there. Sixth place belonging to Grant McGivern with an excellent qualifying effort. Seventh place, Alex Hillman. Eighth, Cody Matthews from SWM. Ninth, Chris Calgill from the same team. And running our top 10 is Matt Novella.
Starting in 11th is Juan Delgado. 12th, Ryan Newman. 13th, Glenn Grigsby.
I think you nailed it.
14th, Jordan Finnegan. 15th, Buddy Sallee. And 15th on, there was no qualifying times put in for those guys.
And it looks
Mark
like
Zabuk and Mr. Jared Kelly that faked us out.
Well,
I don't see him in the server or anything.
I saw him earlier in practice, and he actually saw him mollywop the wall, buddy. And I've been seeing his crew doing two things: screaming at him and working on the backup car, and they couldn't get it prepared. They didn't get the numbers and the doors in time.
The rounding out 18th is Hunter Hall. That's
Similar
another
situation.
name I recognize from some other leagues that I've ran in, or some other series.
Yeah, I think
So
one that you're
there's
champion
quite
of.
a few guys in here. Yeah.
Yeah, Hunter Hall also seemed to have some, it looked like engine issues because I just, the whole practice session saw him trying to get that car started, leaving this garage, coming back in, and they just could not get that number 14 running. So Hunter Hall and Jared Kelly, while they showed up, the cars just were not quite ready. So that is our, I think that's 16 today. And as we have these drivers gridding up, there's only one thing left to do, buddy.
And now, race fans, for the most famous words in motorsports, the star of Universal Pictures movie, I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry, Kevin James.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops, God bless America, and gentlemen, start your engine!
You know, buddy, he's not cheap, but he brings that enthusiasm every week.
Absolutely. And there's nothing like that, nothing else out there that is equivalent to get your adrenaline pumping than listen to that right before you're getting ready to start racing.
Never heard truer words spoken in my entire life, my friend. Like, I need to start just listening, like putting that on myself before every race, because man, that gets me pumped. And look at that beautiful sky that will be going away soon. Again, this is a transition race, so we'll be finishing under the night sky here. How do you expect that to change the track today?
So they're going to start out, the track's going to be a little bit greasy, slippery, might get some issues with trucks getting loose off the exits here early on. Once it transitions to darker, track cools off, the speeds might pick up a little bit, but I'd expect the right front to start wearing out more and these trucks getting tighter.
Yeah, it's almost like at Charlotte, sometimes more grip feels like a bad thing, right? Like, it's like, oh no, now it's even more tempting to go harder, and that only leads to more tire wear. But I think these guys are going to learn some valuable lessons on these early runs. I mean, if it's anything like it was last week with no cautions at Kansas, here we are at Charlotte. I will say I would expect more here, right? Like a little bit more difficult of a track here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to see the Kansas race or anything, so I don't know what it was like there, but I can say that, like you were talking about, tracks being tempting to, everything can feel super comfortable there to start everything off, but that quickly goes away once you use stuff up. And a lot of times you use stuff up before you realize you've used stuff up, and then you find yourself going backwards.
So true. So true. These guys are going to have to stay on top of that all day today. As we grid them up, Zach Panzarella is going to be leading them to green. His first pole in this league. Last week's pole winner, I believe, was Edward Peltz. Or if it wasn't Peltz, it was... I'm forgetting now. I feel bad. It may have been... I think it was Alex Hillman. It probably was. He was going to kill me for that. But we're getting ready for the second ever DDI exhibition race. 2 out of 3, buddy. And at some point during this broadcast, I won't spoil when yet, we're going to be dropping the regular season schedule for y'all. So we got some awesome surprises today. But first, let's do some hard and exciting racing, and let's show you guys what DDIRL is going to be all about. Another exhibition race, another great racetrack. This time we're at Charlotte. Panzarella and Calgill going to lead them to green. We're going to be going on the flag man for this initial restart. Waiting on it, and green flag, green flag. Zach Panzarella leads the field to green. Calgill with a great jump. I believe Calgill used first gear while Panzarella used second there. You can tell by the initial jump, and Calgill definitely going to get the spoils of that right now, but into 1 they go, and through 2, and that bottom line just a little bit dominant right now, buddy.
Yeah, it looked like Calgill kind of let off a little bit there, maybe afraid that the truck might get loose being up there on cold tires. Right now, everyone seems to be holding the bottom pretty well, so don't seem like they're struggling yet. But we'll see how we'll see how it goes after a few laps get put on the tires.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was a little bit of tomfoolery or a little bit of miscommunications on that restart. Matt Novella getting bumped by the 14 to start that restart, or to start that race. No harm, no foul so far. Don't see too much damage, if any, on either race car. So they're going to keep going as Delgado and Novella get together early. Up front, we got Panzarella with the lead. Calgill right behind him. Colton Easterday in 3rd place. And Stephen Kirby, I told you to look for him, already up to 4th. Dalton Geyer kind of bleeding positions right now, starting in third, already down to 5th.
Yeah, I think some of these guys are trying to feel each other out still and kind of see how people are going to run. I don't think anyone wants to burn their stuff up too early. There was quite a bit of practice before this race, so I think people kind of already know what to expect. And I think it's so early in the race. We have 120 laps to go. People's just playing it cautious right here, I think.
I think so as well. I mean, these things are marathons and never sprints. I always try to tell my teammates that, and especially this early in the race, this is not the time to get impatient, and this is the time to learn. While this track I do think will change quite a bit, there's still a lot of valuable lessons you can get right now, especially even though if you had practiced long runs before this race or even today during our practice session, that is not going to prepare you for what this dirty air is going to feel like in these big packs.
Oh yeah, and dirty air in the trucks, it can be... It's been a while since I ran the trucks, but it's almost like they create that bubble in between them, and whenever you get stuck outside of that bubble, just dirty air galore, and that's going to make the truck tight. It's going to push the truck wide. Whenever you're getting pushed wide, you're going to naturally want to put more will into it, and whenever the truck unloads on the exit, it's going to catch the tires. The rear is going to be light, so it's going to try to snap loose on you. It's just dirty air is a bad thing all the way around.
Yeah, it really just makes the truck just incredibly unpredictable. Everything you thought you've learned, you can kind of throw out the window when you're in that dirty air. You see that right there with the 03 of Chris Calgill following the 10 of Cody Matthews, and you see right there how much Calgill prioritizing that clean air, wanting to be alone, and I understand, and that's really how I approach these ones as well. If you even look up front, that is how Panzarella is holding off Patrick Calgill, kind of mirror driving him, looking to see what lines he's preferring, and that's where Panzarella is going to go. That is one of the best ways to lead a race when you feel like the guy behind you may be faster than you. Here you go already. We're going to start seeing a few of these guys use the top. The first one to experiment it with it. No surprise is the 12. Oh man, loose moment for Calgill there.
That was definitely a brown pants moment,
yep.
I think.
Yeah, it was. So Patrick Calgill is going to need more than just tires in the next pit stop after that moment right there. And I think that was what we had just talked about with dirty air. Panzarella running the top and Calgill running the bottom. But the thing about the bottom, you'll see it here with Easterday, you slide up the track on exit pretty drastically, and he came right across that wake of dirty air.
I think whenever Cowgill was running that top, I think he was just carrying so much momentum on the exit, then coming into the dirty air of the 12 coming up, that it kind of upset the balance of the truck and got a little bit more freer than what he was expecting.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess this is a good time to learn that, as our top 5 staying somewhat consistent right now. You see Easterday trying to stay with Panzarella, keep that distance as close as he can, while also trying to get as much clean air as he can. And so far, these guys settling in pretty well, as you see with that camera angle right here, badass camera angle, but mostly single file throughout this field. A lot of guys just trying to learn and see what they can apply to later in this race.
Yeah, it looks like we have a couple different groups that's kind of set itself up here. We have this front pack that's about a second apart, and then we have a second behind that, second group, and then behind that by 2 seconds or so we have a third group that's kind of formed up. I don't know if maybe it's patience, maybe some people still trying to fill out the truck and get a filling for it, because we're only on lap 11 of 120s. Definitely still a long race ahead still.
Yeah,
as it looks like a battle for third.
Yeah, Cowgill and Kirby, it looks like mixing it up. And looks like Dalton Geyer as well. Man, these are going to be guys who have to get used to each other. This league is, Kirby's going to get into Cowgill. Cowgill, oh wow, nice save. For the most part, a little bit down the track.
A lot of heads-up racing right there to avoid everything.
His pants were already a mess. I shudder to think what it looks like inside that race car.
And that 31, he already got loose once, and that's the second time that he's kind of heated those tires up. So here in a little bit, he might have some trouble holding onto that truck, maybe.
Yeah, and that looked like just a little bit tight by Kirby, but Cowgill very much putting on the squeeze, which both guys every right to do both things, and I bet they're both glad it wasn't worse for either driver, as Cowgill did a great job for the most part gathering it up, not back onto the wall. We'll find out coming up here just how bad it was, but so far it looks like he's gonna be okay. And man, that gave a nice cushion to Easterday and Panzarella.
First and second, definitely a gap there. And that second group behind them, I think some people might still be trying to catch their breath after trying to avoid Cowgill getting sideways, and everyone's slowing up and checking up. And like I said earlier in this, it's not a super speedway, but stuff happens fast.
It really does, and it really like can come out of nowhere at this racetrack. As you see Stephen Kirby now trying to recover from that moment with
like we got a
Cowgill.
battle for the lead.
And yes, we do. Panzarella and Easterday side by side. Oh, Panzarella using that high line to get to maintain that lead, but Easterday putting all types of pressure on Panzarella. And what this is also doing is it is allowing Kirby to catch up in a hurry. He has taken off about a half a second in that lead in about 2 laps time, as Easterday going to look to the inside again.
The one thing that this is causing right here is neither one of those trucks can kind of run the preferred line, so they can't get all the momentum on the exit that they want because there's another truck there. So that person behind is always catching the 2 trucks side by side. They kind of have free reign, can use up all the momentum that they need. They don't have to worry about hitting another truck, and that's where that delta changes so fast whenever 2 trucks get side by side.
And you saw it right there. Easterday completing the pass on Panzarella. I think he led that lap, but oh man, right away, Stephen Kirby strikes, and he gets to the inside of Easterday, and you're seeing right away how important tires are. We are only 17 laps into this race, and you can tell Panzarella's burned his stuff up, and you can also tell who's done the best job saving their stuff, whether or not he's been in an incident with the 31, and that is Stephen Kirby looking at the inside of Easterday, trying to take the lead of this race, and he's going to lead this lap.
It looked like there was a little bit of a loose moment there from someone. I didn't see which truck it was, but the one thing that them racing side by side, that's letting Panzarella kind of stay right there with them. They're not able to form up in a line and kind of drive away from anyone, so even though it looks like Panzarella is struggling a little bit, them racing side by side is definitely benefiting keeping those 3 trucks together.
Yeah, it's definitely going to give Panzarella a chance to not let either one drive away. Probably still about, I think it's about 35 to 38 laps of fuel that these trucks have, 78% fuel. So that really is gonna, we are really only about halfway into this run right now. So these guys, if they're not feeling good about their tires right now, it's only gonna get a lot worse, and we're not even close to done.
Yeah, this is the make or break time on a fuel run, a long run, whatever you want to call it. Sitting here watching, we can see more and more trucks kind of packing up to this front group, and this is the telltale of who saved what they could and who burned their stuff up. And right now it's looking like a lot of these guys in the front have burned their stuff up.
And a lot of guys who haven't are the ones that are just blowing people's doors off, and that's the 08 of Hillman and the 10 of Matthews.
They're coming quick.
Yeah, they are. Like, where did they even come from? They weren't on screen 2 laps ago. Oh man, talk about struggling. There goes Easter Day all the way close to the wall. Had to check up. That's going to open the door for Panzarella. Hillman as well. Both of those with daily drivers in colors. So you can see Hillman thinking about the 3Y, but saying, oh, maybe not. But that's going to allow Panzarella to likely slide up in front of Easter Day. Looks like he's going to be able to do that right there. But you know that there's so much tire underneath that 08 and that 10 right now.
Oh, yeah, and forcing these guys to the outside on worn tires, or already on worn tires. Most tracks, it's a little bit, once you get on worn tires running that top, it's a little bit less hectic coming off of the exits because you don't have as much will into it trying to hold the bottom. But that top line, it still eats away your tires way worse than running the bottom does. So this is kind of multiplying their problems on top of each other by them being forced to the outside, I think.
It really is like a double-edged sword, right? Because, yeah, you're right. It definitely burns up the tires more. You know what's happening. You can hear the tires in the race car. But at the same time, it's far more comfortable than the inside is at this point in the run, especially if you've already burned your stuff up. The inside's barely available to you anymore. And here comes another guy who clearly saved his stuff, and this is never a surprise to see that the 56 of Matt Novella saved his stuff. One of the best in the business in any of the leagues that have combined here to create this league at saving his tires and having something towards the end. And Matt Novella, even faster than it looks like the 10 of Cody Matthews and the 08 of Hillman, as he has reeled them in a hurry. And here he is looking to the inside of Alex Hillman.
It looks like he's going to end up taking over third here. These guys they've definitely taken care of their tires. They're moving to the front, late run. We're still about 14 laps or so from pits. There's a lot of ground that they can make up on any of these guys in the front with the saving that they've done. Now that Novella's kind of broken away, he has that clean air, so it wouldn't shock me at all to see him being able to catch second, first place in no time with the pace that he's able to run.
Yeah, Novella is showing blistering pace right now. Truly one of the fastest cars on the track. I think that last time around, yeah, even while making that pass, was still amongst the top 3 cars in the track. Panzarella and Kirby barely faster, but both of those guys enjoying clean air that entire time. I would not be surprised to see Matt Novella with the fastest lap on the track this time around. Cody Matthews also continuing to make great forward progression. He's still in 5th place. Colin Easterday, one of those guys that you can tell is suffering a little bit from those worn tires, and I'm sure those wall hits did not help either. Easterday falling down to 6th, and joining him, the 3rd place starting car, Dalton Geyer, also struggling to hold on to those tires a little bit.
Yeah,
Whoa! Oh! Big hits there! That's Patrick Cowgill. Wow.
That was Cowgill. I didn't see who the other person was that kind of got collected in that.
And that will likely, yeah, that will bring out the caution. I did not. It was Mark Zabak, already in the pits. That's his SWC teammate. That's going to be a fun team meeting, buddy. A very fun team meeting.
I've been into some of those.
Oh, yeah.
There's been a couple times that a couple things of shenanigans kind of happen on the track, and then the next thing you know, the only people it involves is your teammates. And
I'm sorry. Did I do that?
yeah.
Oh man, well, there it is. Caution is out. So, I mean, last week we didn't get any of these, buddy, so we promised them the schedule today, so I feel like without making them way too long, and just at the risk that we don't get another one of these, there it is. No surprise there. Entire field bringing it down the pits. Let's go ahead and unveil this schedule. This is going to be the regular season schedule, and we'll talk a little bit about the chase after this, but drum roll, please, ladies and gentlemen. Here you guys go. And there it is. We are going to start a week after our final exhibition race next week at Michigan. And so right after that, June 18th, we're going to get our season started at, I mean, where else, buddy? Where else do you start a season besides Daytona, right? So we're going to Daytona.
You gotta do Daytona.
Right. And so you may see some color coding here in the schedule. And if you see that gold background, what that indicates is that's a crown jewel race. And we'll get a little bit more into what that means. But Daytona, the first race of the season, also, obviously, a crown jewel race. Second race of the season, we'll be heading over to Pocono. This league is going to try to loosely follow the officials' schedule for Fix C. That way, we give everyone a little bit extra time to race other people, get that extra practice in. However, if we don't like the track, if it's a track we want to hit later in the season, we have elected to go with a different one at that time. So Pocono is one of those. Pocono will be the official race that week, so that's why we're going there. Next week will be Iowa, and then the fourth week is kind of an interesting one as well, because you see 3 tracks there. Don't worry, we're not going to all 3. You see Mid-Ohio, Sonoma, and Chicago Street. And the reason why you see 3 is because the drivers will be voting on that one. So drivers, if you are watching this, or if you are signed up for this league, look out for that. And to get a vote in that, you must run one of these exhibitions. If you don't run one of the exhibitions, your vote will not be counted. So make sure you run one of those and get your vote in there. We'll be going to Auto Club next for the KK Woodscapes 200. After that will be our next crown jewel, and that's going to be the DDI 365 at the Brickyard. They're going to be at the IRP for the officials. We said, screw that, let's go to the Brickyard. So we'll be at the Brickyard for 91 laps, which is 365 kilometers. So our Canadians already know that. Next up, we got Kentucky for the Dennis Puckett Memorial 180. That's going to be a great race at the hometown and favorite track of Dennis Puckett. Entering August, we'll be going to our second super speedway of the year, and that will be Talladega. Next up, we'll have Richmond, and then the final race of the chase will be the final crown jewel of the season, and that'll be at Dover, and that'll be the 44 ever 144, 144 laps around Dover. Also memorializing someone very close to us over on DDI representing CM Pennington. On the bottom, excuse me, you see exhibition races. After the conclusion of regular season, we will take a 2-week break, but we will be holding exhibitions in that time. The iRacing Super Speedway and Monza will be the 2 places we go to. And then the chase will start on September 10th, and we'll be dropping that chase schedule next week. What do you think, buddy?
There's a few tracks that stick out to me right there. Iowa, Dover, Richmond, all the technical tracks.
Yep.
I'm a technical guy.
A track, don't you?
Yep.
Love it.
I think we're getting ready to go green here also.
We are.
And it looks like everyone took tires. I don't blame them. That was almost a full fuel run, pretty close to it.
And Panzarella looks like he actually beat Kirby out of the pits that time as well. That was very, very close to a full fuel run. So I think everyone, especially the guys who have burned their stuff up, very relieved to see that caution. As we get ready to go green, control car this time, Panzarella, not the flagman. The first restart from a yellow, and Daily Drivers Inc. history, led by Zach Panzarella, as Stephen Kirby on the outside is going to quickly fall behind into second place. Matt Novella going to maintain that track position he earned from that long run. He's already up to third. Behind him, Alex Hillman, and then Cody Matthews, another guy enjoying his long run success as Stephen Kirby looks to the inside.
Yep, Stephen Kirby to the inside. Matt Novella starting out there in third, kind of saving that track position. Seeing what he did that last long run, if I was Kirby or Panzarella, I'd be kind of worried about the 56 right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you heard it, but Matt Novella keyed up under that caution and asked Zach if he heard the music, and I can tell you what song he was referring to was the da-na, da-na. And I think he did.
Yep, I heard it.
It was faint, but it kept getting louder. Oh, we might go 3 wide here. thought about it, did Alex Tillman, and everyone thought better of it. So far, I mean, very respectful racing being shown in this league. Almost like too respectful, boys. Have at it a little.
Right? Everyone, I still think we're super early in this. I mean, we're only 32 laps in. There is one fast repair sitting there, but I don't think anyone's willing to use it. A lot of these guys, brand new season, exhibition race. No one's really racing for points or anything. So these are good races to kind of get the fillers out there and kind of get used to the guys that you're racing around.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It really is just a great opportunity to familiarize yourself, and it's also it's a horrible time to make enemies, considering we're racing for fun and just trophies and gift cards out here, not points yet. So really, you just want to make sure that you're giving that respect out. And yeah, I would expect once there's a little bit more on the line, the racing to change a little bit. But one thing that just stuck out to me, buddy, is Panzarella and Kirby were door-to-door about 2 laps ago, and I'll tell you this much. If Stephen Kirby was door-to-door with you 2 laps ago, and now he's 1.3 seconds behind you, and you didn't make a mistake, you're not that fast. You're not as fast as you think you are. Stephen Kirby's up to something.
Yeah, it's the, I think it's the go ahead and drive out there as far as you want, because I'm saving my stuff.
Yep, you do you, buddy. I'll see you in not long from now. That's Ryan Newman there on the inside. We recently saw Newman coming down the pits, maybe collecting some damage on that restart, and I think just doing the right thing to let the field drive by him right there, not wanting to re-enter mid-path. But Newman, not having the day that I think he would like to, but definitely someone that we'll have to keep our eye out for as the season goes on. A really quick driver is Ryan Newman. I mean, as we know, we've been watching the dude for 20 years. But I'm gonna have to cut that out, or else I'm gonna confuse new viewers.
Sitting here talking about Kirby saving his stuff and Panzarella out there. There's a few things that's happening here. Panzarella's way out there, and I know he's got to be thinking, what's Kirby up to? There's no reason for that.
Why am I by myself?
There's more to that, because there's a whole pack of trucks that's right behind Kirby doing the same thing.
Yeah, there really, really are, and it's, oh man, it's one of those situations too. When you're the leader, you're thinking, well, I'm saving. I'm trying to save. What are they doing? Are they just not going at all? Like, it's such a confusing situation, and you don't want to just let them drive up to you, because you know the damage is done in terms of you driving your stuff up. It's a lose-lose situation, and yeah, Stephen Kirby probably laughing his way all the way to the bank right now. Is he actually going to even let Cody Matthews by? And Cody Matthews, I mean, I'm not sure going to let him by. Cody Matthews is going to complete the pass. But Cody Matthews, I would be a little bit concerned about that if I'm Kirby. He was really quick on the long run on that first run. So, yeah, if I'm Cody Matthews, I'm saying thank you very much. I know how to do this.
Yeah, we're only about 5 laps into this green flag run, so tires are still a little bit fresh, and these fast guys that was fast on the long run, if I'm blowing by them right now, I'd kind of be questioning, am I driving too fast? Like, if they were super fast on the long run, me blowing by them is probably doing something wrong on the short run.
Yeah, I would completely agree, and you're already actually seeing it start decreasing. Panzarella had it up to 1.6. Cody Matthews, also part of the group that's able to run down Panzarella already, and I think we're only on lap about 11 of this green flag run, so man, the tires, they come into play so fast.
The fall off was, I want to say the fall off would be something like, I mean, we saw the qualifying times, right? 29.7. And right now, people are running
31.
Now, Panzarella's running 31.6. Cody Matthews running 30.85.
So a full second.
A full second off of qualifying time, and we're 10 laps after we went back to green, and the fuel run, like, there's still 20 laps left to run on these tires if you're counting tires to a fuel run.
Yeah, there certainly is. And now I think that first caution, while it did fall in a place where it was pretty close to the field, it did cut it a little bit short, I think. So these guys are going to have to get a tiny bit creative. I mean, at the very least, they know that this is likely the longest run of the day right now if there isn't a caution. So it is a good idea to be conservative early. Another guy that's sticking out to me is the one on camera right now the camera's focused on. That's Matt Novella. We saw him restart in third. He's fallen his back down, I think, as far back as 6th. Oh, man. Healthy hit by Dalton Geyer into the wall right there. That was the number 36 of Dalton Geyer, really slapping the wall, getting to know it. Man, those will stack up for you. And you see Dalton trying to get anything. And oh, there's someone else coming out of nowhere. Buddy Sallee right there behind Alex Hillman. Man, these guys, it is amazing what a long run will do for you. But sorry, to finish my thought about Novella, I would think that he's also very much not intentionally losing positions, but not worried about it and knowing it's going to come back around to him.
Right there on that exit, I seen him do something that the other trucks did not look like they were able to do, and he was able to hold it lower on the exit than the others. And that comes from conserving the tires. He's getting about a truck width lower than everyone else. It's giving him clean air, and he has an entry like right there. Everyone's pushed up high. They're super tight, as you saw the
95.
I think that was the 95 getting the wall. Right now, Novella's on cloud 9. You're seeing the changeover here where his tire savings paying off. He's not going to do anything but make up ground here.
Look at that lack of steering wheel input through the corner. Unreal. Whoa! That didn't help.
Nope,
Did you
looked
see
like he
that?
got tagged from behind.
Yep, I'm gonna say. Yep. What do you know? There's a Colton Easterday behind him. Wow, what a save by Novella. Easterday apologizing over the radio.
You kind of get that though, because whenever you're saving tires, you can't be super aggressive on entry, right? You want to back up your corners. You want to be able to hug the bottom, and the only way you're going to be able to hug the bottom is backing up the corners. Unfortunately, sometimes that gets you ran over.
Yeah, very, very true. Sometimes when people see you back up the corners, they say, well, that's good for you, buddy, but I don't care.
I think Novella, that might have been one lap or something that Novella had in front of him, so I don't think it's anything against Easterday. I just don't think he was expecting the early checkup like that.
And now he gets to deal with Easterday on the inside of him as they enter 3 and 4. He's gonna say, he's saying, please don't slide up. And what does Easterday do? Slides right up the track. Novella with a gorgeous crossover. And like you talked about, that's just having so much underneath that car with the tire advantage that he's able to maneuver the car mid-corner. There is no way that 95 can do that right now. He is a passenger once they enter that corner sliding up.
And this, the more sliding this 95 does, like he's trying to carry that momentum and push high, it's just eating away at that right front. He's just going to get tighter and tighter as the run goes on.
Yeah, I completely agree. Going back up front, I'm kind of noticing something curious here. You saw Panzarella go out to that 1.6 lead. You saw it go down to about 1.2 in like really the span, buddy, of about two laps. And then it fell down to about a second over the course, about 3 or 4 after that. And since then, it's been about 5 laps now of Panzarella keeping those two cars about a second behind him, keeping Kirby about a second behind him. And I'm starting to realize that because the first run, I started to see that a little bit too, is, oh, that's not going to help. His Panzer gets ultra loose out of 4 right there. But
trying to run that top.
Exactly, trying to run that top. And I said it was more comfortable, so that should just go to say what the bottom feels like for him right now. Because 1 and 2, the bottom is doable for most of these drivers. Wow, look at Kirby ripping the top through 1 and 2. We're going to have to ride on board with Kirby next lap because that was a sexy line. I just saw through 1 and 2 right there. And then he's going to use the bottom to 3 and 4. Interesting balance there from Stephen Kirby in terms of his line selection. Let's go on board with him and see if he does that. He probably won't since we're going on board.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. I would suspect people would run low in 1 and 2 and high in 3 and 4.
Same.
But it looks like he's running the opposite here, the way I would approach it if I was trying to split it.
Looks like he's dirt tracking it through 1 and 2 too. Just so much on the rear tire. That is so hard to do, buddy.
I know whenever I race here, that exit on 4, that wall comes quick. And if you're twitchy with the wheel, it likes to snap you loose off of 4, so.
Yep. I was coaching one of our drivers going into this race about that, and the first thing I told him was 1 and 2 are nothing like 3 and 4. Do not treat them the same.
No, they look the same kind of at a distance, but technically they're completely different.
The track map deceives you is also what it is. You look at that track map and you're like, that looks pretty normal. And then you get on the track, you're like, where did that wall come from? There it is right there.
Right.
That thing just comes at you. I'm convinced that it moves.
I think it's the shape of the track. So coming into 1 and 2, you kind of have more of an open entry to it. And 3 and 4, coming into 3, you have that long straightaway, and it's really tight going into 3. And I think that sets up the horrible exit out of 4.
Yeah, you really have to have the car underneath you, and kind of like Dover, already pointed away from the wall, or else you're just looking at that and praying, or checking up, or hitting it. So, as I predicted, Matt Novella is back where I think he feels like, well, not where he belongs. I'm sure he feels like he belongs in P1. But Matt Novella, we saw him fall back a little bit from where he started, but like we thought, quickly getting that back as this run goes on.
And Kirby was able to kind of, right now, it's about a 1/4 of a second gap between Panzarella and Kirby. So Kirby's kind of made up some room, or made up that distance.
Yeah, he has, and here comes Sallee, continuing to work his way through the field. He was like in 16th on pace on the first run, and now here we are battling nearly in the top 5 on pace again. Pretty unbelievable what that can do for you, and man, you can see how loose it is in the bottom of that corner for that 21. Trying to get out of there clean, but it is tricky, and up front it looks like I jinxed the 12 because here comes the 109, and it was only a matter of time, and wow, that 109 is quick.
Yep, but as they say, it's one thing to catch them, it's another to pass them.
Yeah, you're going to see Panzarella trying to make this as hard as he can. Really going to try to guess what line Kirby's going to want. Obviously, was watching him in the mirror the whole time, seeing the lines he likes, so thinking, I'll just run those and hope I don't wreck. But Kirby saying, okay, I'll follow you through it then, and then just drives right below him. Panzarella going to try to hold him tight. Oh, loose moment. Little bit grazed of the wall. Somehow able to hold off Kirby. And look at that lead evaporating for both these guys, too, as Matt Novella loving this.
Yeah, the only thing Panzarella can do right here is try to mirror drive the best he can and try to put as much dirty air on Kirby. That's really the only defense. Other than that, Panzarella is just a sitting duck in this situation.
Yeah, you're really just trying to prolong the inevitable, aren't you?
He looks like he's trying to kind of search different lines on the track, but Panzarella's changing it up on him. And he was running that low line in 3 and 4, and it looked like he was a little bit uncomfortable running the high line there that time.
Yeah, Kirby, you can tell, also searching for fresh air, but also trying to flirt with kind of like I guess fake outs on Zach. You saw that in the first stretch, or the back stretch that last time, flirting with the inside, but with intentions to go on the outside. Panzarella not biting, I think, just because he can't do the inside right now. But that one not working out for Kirby. But Kirby, I think, clearly faster here, just needs to find a way around him. Like you said, it's one thing to catch him, another to pass him, especially when the tires are this old, and especially when the dirty air is this significant.
Yeah, one thing, this is letting Novella and Novella and Colton are catching both Panzarella and Kirby while this is going on.
Whoa! And he's getting to him again. These two really getting to know each other today. Coming from 2 different leagues. I think this is the first, actually I know that, this is the first time that Easter Day and Novella have ever shared the track together, and they're going to be either good friends or something else after this one, because they've done a lot of touching the field.
they both look like they're kind of equivalent on the tire saving. I mean, they're hanging with each other right now, so it doesn't sound like green flag pit stops are underway. I believe I've heard a couple people call it out.
There's Panzarella, and oh my gosh, look at how much better of a job Novella did getting into the pits than the 12. Last week, we heard me and Gene talk about that so much, about how important it is to get in the pits. Panzarella was amongst the top 3 on pit entry and pit exit. Not today. Matt Novella just raced about a second from that lead right there with a much more aggressive pit entry.
Yeah, those entries, you could make up a second to a second or a second and a half on the track just by pitting faster than who your opponent you're pitting against if they're kind of less aggressive. So especially on a green flag run, you can make up some ground there. And then I want to drop this little nugget of knowledge for people again, because I say it every time I'm on a broadcast, but uncheck your tear-offs, because that'll save you a second in the pits.
I literally still forget to do that. And I had such bad OCD that I'm always like, get that stupid fly off my windshield. I don't want to look at that anymore. As here comes Kirby and Easterday. Easterday was dominating the early stage. Wow. Nice entry by Kirby. Easterday was dominating the early stages of last week's race at Kansas. Led the first, I think, 40 laps, and then sped on the first pit stop, and that was all she wrote for the 109. I'm sorry, for the 95. Because if you don't get any cautions and you speed on pit road, your day is over. So Easterday with a much cleaner and conservative entry that time. And there's Calgill. I think Calgill actually collected a little bit more damage there, buddy. So I think Calgill actually now, without that fast repair, one provided to these drivers here. But Calgill, with that no longer available to him, and it looks like that might be it for the driver who finished in P2 last week and was certainly one of our contenders. As here comes Kirby back onto the track, and what I'm looking for here, buddy, is where he's going to cycle out in terms of Panzarella and Novella, as those two are coming around the track in no time. There he is, as Panzarella gets ultra loose at it too, and him and Novella racing each other hard. And yeah, Kirby, you can see that's what 2 extra laps on track will do for you. If you're Stephen Kirby, it will cost you that much time, as there's, oh my goodness, the 03.
Holy moly.
And Kirby into the wall as the 03 pit just right in front of him. Kirby letting him know on the radio, not happy. that could have been far, far worse.
Oh yeah, that could have been a caution right here.
Oh, well, that could be the end of our fastest car in the race.
It does look like there was an apology sent, though, so I do hear that on the radio. One thing to note here is we're talking about 35 laps on fuel or something, and we were talking about, or we had that earlier, caution. We're on lap 66 of 120, so these guys still can't make it all the way without another stop.
Whoa, and then the 13 in front of Panzarella and Novella.
Yeah.
These guys, I mean, we are in mid-pit cycle right now, so there's a lot of big tire differences, and you can tell by the pace differences all around the field, and you're right about that as well, buddy. So this is going to be an interesting one, and you can tell Novella and Panzarella, they know, even though they're running 4th and 5th right now, they know they're effectively racing for the lead right now, with Grigsby, Matthews, and Geyer still needing to pit, actually pitting this lap, so Geyer right in front of them, the only car left out there. They're going to get their lap back right there the hard way. But these guys are going for it right now. They are driving each other extremely hard. These two have a history of racing each other very hard, very clean, so they're very comfortable doing this. But man, I think they're forgetting about that giant shark that has a 109 stamped on the side of it that's not far behind them. Whoa.
Yeah, I think Geyer might be waiting for a caution. That's always a strategy too. Yeah, hoping and praying for a caution. You stayed out. You kind of made your bed. All these guys have pit before you have, so all they're doing is insanely gaining time on you on the track. Whenever you're talking about, it looks like Dalton's last lap was, oh, I can't see because he went into the pits, which is good for him.
Yeah.
But got to stop the bleeding somehow, because it's always scary whenever you're that guy that stays out and the caution doesn't come, because you know, like, that digs you a hole right there. And without a caution, it's extremely hard to dig out of it because you just lose so much time on the track to guys with fresher tires.
Yeah, you really, really do. And speaking of fresher tires, here it is again, the two daily drivers in cars with the DDI Reese right there in the hood racing for first place right now. And both of them, I mean, you can just visually tell, buddy, sending it, like absolutely sending it. And right now the lead, 2.7 seconds to Stephen Kirby. There he is right there with Easterday right there in tow. Another contender for this win today is that 95 of Easterday. And then right, not far behind them is Hillman and Sallee, the two guys who have showed so much muscle on the long run. I think Sallee especially, not with the start to this race he wanted, whether it be qualifying or just the first run, but that has not slowed him down. That bunch up that he got from that caution, he has taken full advantage of, driven into the top 5 area, currently in 6th right now, and has not let them out of his sight. So that's exactly what you need to do. Behind that is a full 5 seconds back to Graham McGivern. He's currently running in 7th place. Graham McGivern having a clean, quiet, and solid day. I mean, that just trademark Graham McGivern right there, doing that and just being just as good as he is. Behind there, Cody Matthews. I'm assuming Cody ran that one long. I'm trying to look at my data. He did run that one very long, buddy. That's why Cody Matthews is not where we've been used to seeing him in the running order right now, but I'm assuming we're gonna watch him blow some doors off right now because that car has a lot fresher rubber on it than the ones around him. And same goes, we talked about how bad it was gonna be. It's gonna be 14 seconds bad, buddy. That's how bad it's gonna be for Dalton Geyer.
Yeah, it just compounds whenever that happens. So looking at we're all the way through the pit cycle now. We have Panzarella and Novella last pit on lap 60. We have Stephen Kirby and Colton the pit on 62. Alex Hillman pit on 60. Buddy Sallee pit on 61. McGivern pit on 61. And then pretty much everyone after that is about 6 laps later. So there's definitely a spread between, as Colton, it looks like he's pitting for some reason. Oh, my timing must have just been wrong.
Mine just did the exact same thing.
Sitting here trying to count the laps here to figure
Must
out
have gone blinky blinky.
what tire. So the guys on the freshest tires, like you were talking about, is 10 seconds back, 17 seconds back. That's hard to make up on the track without a caution.
Yeah, I completely agree. It really is. I mean, even with the fresher tires, and again, we've kind of seen it balance out at a certain point. I just think that's a little bit too long. But hey, we still got 50 to go in this thing, so we'll see. As Matt Novella is not letting Panzarella out of his sight. He wants to lead some laps here in the DDIRL. He's Daily Drivers Inc. sponsored, and he wants to make the company proud and lead some damn laps. And I can tell you, Matt Novella, he has not been happy with his performance in 2025. And when I say not happy, I just mean not winning a lot of races, because that's not happy for Matt Novella, because that's how good this dude is. He's a former MRL Thursday night champion. Went on a 4-race win streak to win that championship. Didn't come out of nowhere because we all know who Matt Novella is, but man, he became unbeatable. As here he is, looking at the inside of Panzarella. Panzarella, wow! I think he got a little bit spooked by that exit by Novella, but at the same time, knowing I've already screwed up this corner too, I think a synchronized screw up there. I think I'm pretty right about that because that took a full second off their lead to Stephen Kirby. You can see him now on the camera. There he is, Donut.
Yeah. One thing I was watching before that happened was Panzarella and Novella. They were kind of running in a line, not really running side by side, and Kirby was still running 4/10 faster a lap.
Yeah, I believe it. And now he's running about, oh God, like still 3/10 is ridiculous. Maybe that might have something to do with the urgency of Matt Novella and Panzarella saying, no, you get past first. No, you get past first. Because there's a good chance you might be able to hold up Kirby and drive away in the sunset. So these two, I think, understanding the situation and not wanting to deal with it. Quick note there behind there. That's Zab. You see there, Mark Zab, Zabak, but he goes by Zab. So we're going to call him Zab. Makes my job easier, buddy. But Zab with some bad luck earlier in this race. I don't know if he used his fast repair, if he didn't know he had one. But I felt like he didn't get in 2 wrecks, but nonetheless, he is 6 laps down right now. But hey, I commend him for still putting down those reps, and I'm the same way. Whether or not I'm 10 laps down, 20 laps down, if I have a healthy race car, I'm going to go out there and put down some laps and become a better race car driver, and also kind of try to stay out the way. But I'm not going to lie, when you're Mark Zavick right now and you're around the leaders, you're like, well, let me find out if I could have won this race.
One thing that I've found and that I've noticed that, one thing that I've noticed whenever it comes to fast repairs, and you don't realize you have it, is you can get a bump and it gives you just a little bit of damage. And if you have the fast repair ticked,
yep,
and you haven't unticked it, it will use it for that.
It's typically a situation you learn once.
Yeah.
Because after that first time, you're like, that sucked. But no kidding, buddy. Every single time we pull out of a pit stop, especially if it's under yellow, or when the race is gridding up, I tell my team, you can ask them. It's an inside joke at this point. Check out those fast repairs, boys. Check out those fast repairs.
So if you want to get all nitty and gritty with it a little bit, you can modify the any file a little bit and automatically turn it off to where you have to turn it on to use it.
A few of our guys did that because they don't freaking listen.
I'm too lazy to do that.
As while we were talking about that, Panzarella just got mollywopped by Novella and Kirby, both of them with no problem getting past them. Novella's going to lead this race right now, but Kirby, he wants to lead now. And I got to say, this is the second time in a row that's happened. It's kind of mean of Stephen Kirby to do that. First it was cold yesterday, like, yes, I'm going to lead some laps. And Stephen Kirby's like, nah, actually, I don't think you are. I'm sorry, buddy. And I think that's exactly what's about to happen right now.
One thing that I think also happened was Novella might have got caught up in the moment with racing Panzarella.
Whoa. Man,
I think he might have used up a little bit more than he wanted to racing with Panzarella. So this is just going to let Kirby drive away here.
And you can see it in
and
the 12
cars,
at least.
Yeah.
Because it's same. I mean, if he burned his stuff up racing Panzarella and he's better at saving his stuff, you can only imagine how bad it is for the 12. As you actually see the 12 going to look to the inside of Novella, try to get that spot back. These two just thinking, well, we made this mess. Let's sleep in this bed together. And Panzarella gets tight, nearly up in Novella, and that's going to probably cost him some positions. It is. I think Easter Day is going to get around him. Behind that is I think that's the lap car of Newman. I want to say it is. That's the lap car of Newman.
Yeah.
Just hanging out. Just happened to be there. Making it a 12 and 13 situation.
Yeah. Definitely an interesting counting of numbers there, but
I think that's the only
12,
reason.
13, 21.
Yeah, wow, you can switch it. Let's get Juan Delgado over here in the 14. As Newman's going to go around Panzarella here and say, well, you're the first step at me getting my lap out the hard way. And now that's going to open the door for Buddy Sallee.
Yeah.
And Panzarella, I say this every week, and it's that feeling when you open up the door of a department store or something for one person, all of a sudden everyone else is like, don't mind if I do. And you're like, I just wanted to let one guy through, and now I'm in fifth place.
That right there is just a product of not being able to hold the bottom and getting stuck on the bottom.
Exactly.
I don't think it would have been that as bad. Oh, that was really close. I don't think it would have been as bad if Panzarella would have got stuck on the top, but being stuck on the bottom after already having some worn out stuff, you're just going to bleed positions there.
It's so true, and you saw it with that moment with Novella. Panzarella trying to use the bottom and immediately sliding up. And what that does to a driver 9 times out of 10 is just completely kills their confidence in that line, especially in that situation they're in. Thinking, I don't want to be the one to create the caution, wreck somebody else, ruin someone else's race. Let me get where I'm comfortable, and even if that means I get past.
We're getting pretty close to being able to finish this race on a fuel run, so kind of curious on who's going to short pit here to try to leap the field.
Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting moment in this race, buddy, because we have seen a couple things today that have stuck out to me. First of all, around like lap 10, if you took care of your stuff or if you have an advantage, I mean lap 10 into a run, or if you have, let's say a 3-4 lap advantage on that car that's already reached lap 10 and you're on 7, that is big at that part of the run. I'm talking like 4 or 5 tenths a lap is what I'm seeing. However, if you can protect your stuff decently and protect your track position, which is far more important here, you can, I think around lap 25, 28, there's a big balance out plateau moment that I'm seeing as well, to where people aren't driving away from one another, even with big tire differences. So now is your time to make that decision. Do you want that short or that undercut speed? Because another thing that we've talked about a lot today, buddy, is just how drastic that is. These guys, they're putting down that last lap by our fastest driver in the race. One of very few to put down a lap even in the 31s was a 31.7. That is nearly 2 seconds slower. That is 2 seconds slower than the qualifying pole. This is drastic undercut territory here.
Nick, and it looks like we got Alex Hillman in the pit, Sallee pit.
Yes.
A couple people short pitting.
There he is right there. Hillman gonna put 4 on.
The undercut.
Sallee as
The
well.
one thing that you have to be cautious about is stopping too early. You lose that on the end of the long run.
Yeah.
It really is a gamble. I mean, anything can be right or wrong. A caution can change it all. You never know what's going to happen. It truly is 100% a gamble.
Yeah, I completely agree. And again, a caution, like what you just said. So another thing about DDIRL, because man, this race has been so exciting. I'm not going to lie that I haven't even had a chance to really harp on the league too hard. But this league is going to have something that I think virtually every driver here is unfamiliar with. And what that is, buddy, is an extra set of tires. So we'll start with the DDI, with the MRL Truck Series over there. They have a stage that pays out points that is not at the 50% point. I don't know how they determine it, but it's not at the 50% point. And they have 3 sets of tires. So oftentimes, let's just say, for example, in this race, right? The stage would, in MRL, be around lap 50, and you would have about 37 laps of fuel. So when you take that fuel, you'd be stupid to take the tires too, when you only need 13 laps until you reach that stage caution, and you're going to either be a sitting duck on the next run or get those fresh ones on then. So you kind of have to decide between stage points and fresh tires there. So that also kind of leaves a set of tires available to you that you may not even use, depending on how the race goes, since you're already 50 laps into it. These are MRL distance races over here in the DRL, so it would be 120. You'd only need to pit one more time. But in this league, we're going to have a stage at the 50% part of the race, so it would be lap 60 here. But we're not calling a caution for it, buddy. Like, we don't do forced cautions out here. We don't do fun cautions. We don't do anything like that. It's going to be just legitimate points-paying stage. So if something was to go wrong, if you lose connection, whatever it is, whatever the case may be, you'd still get a good points day if something falls apart in your race, if you had a good one going on early on. But with those four sets of tires and that no caution, buddy, all these guys right now essentially do have that extra set. So it really does open up your possibilities for how you want to do this long run, right? Or this last run, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it definitely could. And having that extra set for, like, Monday nights for MRL is the only league that I run that kind of does a stage deal, but they don't do a caution for it. Right. But on Monday nights, you still are kind of limited to the way that that's set up is kind of in the 50% mark. Depending on where the caution comes out, you can use the extra set of tires for stage points, but that's going to screw you up at the end of the race.
And here comes Panzarella.
If a caution were to come out. Or you can save that for the extra, or you can save that extra set for the end of the race, but that might screw you up for the stage points.
Yep. So
it's a real, a lot of it's a gamble. Sometimes it makes it fun. Sometimes you're on the wrong end of that. There's a lot of people pitting right now.
Yeah, Panzarella starting a trend right there as he brings in, it looks like Geyer and Matthews with him, and now it's Easter Day this next time around, and our leader. And Kirby, man, I was wrong about kind of that stall out point. Kirby kind of just broke the myth right there, buddy. He had opened up a 2.5 second lead. And, Kirby, all he has to do at this point is keep it clean as he brings it in for his last pit stop of the race. And there is Colton Easterday right in front of him. And it's going to be Matt Novella who's going to stay out. And I believe Novella was actually running second. there, buddy. So Novella gonna inherit the lead of this race, but also gonna stay out. We'll be curious to see how long he does that. And in the meantime, buddy, how about for the first time ever in the DDIRL, we crank it up for just a minute.
Absolutely. Sounds like playing to me.
Let's do this thing.
All right.
All right, and so here we are. That was a great, oh, and right on time as Matt Novella is going to bring it down. The leader of the race, he really ran that thing long. As Matt Novella is going to come down, it looks like on lap 100, which is about 6 laps longer than a lot of the guys he's competing with for the win. We'll see how this works out for him. So we have really about every possible strategy laid out in front of us here. We have Buddy Sallee with the undercut, as well as Alex Hillman. And then we have, running it long, Matt Novella.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Novella ran it long like that. I mean, he had the track position to... He already had the track position, right? So he was kind of right there. And if he would have short pit that, I mean, he wouldn't have even had to short pit it by a lot. He could have short pit it by 2 laps of everyone else. And he would have came out on top of that. The only thing that I can think that maybe he might have been pondering is getting people trapped a lap down, right?
Yeah, that would
Staying
be nice
out,
for
lapping
him.
people.
Get the 4 tires and still keep the lead.
Get the 4 tires, still keep the lead. The caution laps are 1 less, so the lap trucks pit now with the lead lap trucks.
And also, if you're getting the wave around, you couldn't pit. It would be only probably Kirby, or be probably only Sully he'd have to worry about. But speaking of, we talked earlier, though. Remember about Dalton earlier? We thought 14 was bad. Look at the pylon now. 17 seconds.
Oh yeah,
It was 18 when he came out.
That's the wrong end of that strategy. That you definitely don't want to be on that end of it. It probably had a caution came out, it might have worked in his favor. He would definitely be sitting on top of the mountain right now, but just part of the risk taken right here.
Yeah.
Because you never know what's going to happen, right?
The only thing I can think of for Novella in terms of mentality, I think that's a move you make in an exhibition race and not a points paying race. Would you agree with that?
I would, just to see kind of what happens.
Right. And you risk for a trophy. You know, I think he felt like, I don't know if I have anything for that 109, so let me do something entirely different.
And then this is all stuff that you can kind of take to the regular season.
So true.
Especially if, I mean, I can almost guarantee more people than what we have here is going to end up at the regular season, and the racing is probably going to be a little bit different. So why not test and try stuff now whenever it don't matter?
Exactly. Hey, it matters to me, damn it. Just kidding. As there goes Panzarella past Hillman. Hillman pit a little bit earlier than Sallee did. And you can already see what's happening to Hillman. And I think the 21 also clearly got on and off pit road far better than the 08 of Hillman did. Because Sallee right now enjoying a 3.5 second lead over Kirby with only 15 to go. This is very, very possible for the 21, especially if they can get to that plateau point before the 109 is able to get by him, because he is taking off that time in a hurry, buddy.
Yeah, I do have a little secret about the 21 and the pit entry. He almost wiped out and sped at the same time, so he had a really good entry.
Those, honestly, in terms, if you don't wipe out her speed, those are typically the fastest entries.
It definitely was risky, but luckily neither of those happened. So
one thing that's not going to speed up this 21 though is getting around these lap cars. Right now, going to run the 17 of Zab. Zab again, no slouch, not slow, not an easy car to lap, and again, he's 5 laps down. He's already got one back. He's thinking, I can win this race, as he's going to be the courteous and classy driver that we've come to expect from DRL, and that is one thing. Man, we have ran, if this time around, buddy, this is going to be 200, I'm going to do some math right now, I'm going to embarrass myself. I think it's 238 laps and 1 caution.
Yeah, that's actually not bad, especially for having, what was it, 17, 16 guys this week. And I don't know how many you guys had last week, but I think it was pretty close, 15, 14 guys.
15 last week, so very similar this week.
Yeah, and for Kansas, which is usually pretty aggressive, Charlotte can be kind of a ruckus fest sometimes,
messy,
depending on who you're in there with.
Exactly. It could definitely get very, very messy. As oh man, Stephen Kirby is in no mood to wait right now.
Kirby is definitely on his way, and I think the 21 might have pit a little bit too soon.
Yep.
It also didn't help getting held up a little bit by traffic, but Kirby's definitely on his way.
Yeah, he is coming, and he's coming in a hurry. Only 10 to go. That the 21 of Sallee has to hold on for. Can he do it? The lead down to under a second now. I think Kirby and Zab have raced together before. I think they've actually been in SWC. That is the lead that a lot of the PRL guys moved on to after the disbandment of PRL. But yeah, really very honored to see a lot of them out here. And from what I've heard, we have the cream of the crop of what SWC has to offer, and they are showing that week in and week out already. So we are honored to have those guys. And it's down to point 4, buddy. It's down to point 4. It's I hear the Jaws music again. That thing has been stuck in my head today.
It looks like Kirby's gaining about 0.4 a second a lap. So this lap right here, Kirby's going to be there.
That was a 31.65 and 31.26.
The same.
You're a mathematician, my friend. And here we go. Only 9 laps to go. It'll be 8 this time around, but Kirby, I mean, you talked about the 12 earlier being a sitting duck, and I think all you had to do was reverse the number and make it a 21, because that 109 seemed the exact same thing in front of him.
I think the 21 tried to give him a little bit of dirty air off of 4, and I don't think it's going to matter.
That's
Kirby's
cute.
Just going to take it around the outside.
And he's all jacked up on Mountain Dew as the 109 goes to the lead. I don't know how it's taken me 112 laps to make that joke, but Stephen Kirby to the lead, passing buddy Sallee, and Sallee, I think at this point thinking, okay, well, I think I at least have a second place here. And honestly, what a drive by the 21. Again, this guy was seconds back from the guys that he's racing around right now. 30 laps in this race. Akasha came out, he put some fresh ones on it, and he said no more effing around, and he immediately drove his way to the front, and since then he's only gotten further up. We've also seen the 21 so strong in qualifying in the past couple of weeks. BRL Sunday collecting the pole this very week, only a few days ago. So, man, when those two things come together, I would look out. I mean, just looking on screen right now, I am seeing several championships and several league wins.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's kind of hit and miss. A lot of times you kind of never, it all depends on who you're racing around, right? It could be the, I don't remember where I was going with that. Lost my train of thought right here.
No,
as we
I
have
get it.
6
I mean,
laps to go, 5 laps to go.
We've been through 115 of these things already, buddy. I get it. But yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at that top 5 right now, and I can tell you right now, and this is one of my favorite things about DDIRL and the combination of talent in different leagues, I am seeing that I know of, buddy. I could be wrong about this. I'm seeing 4 championships in the top 5 right now, and I'm seeing over 50 league wins in the top 5 between those 5 drivers. Kirby, a champion of PRL. Buddy Sallee, a champion of MRL. Colton Easterday, someone who has collected numerous wins in the PRL series. Zach Panzarella, PRL and MRL champion. And Matt Novella, an MRL Truck Series champion. My goodness. I am so
talking
about
about
what this league's going to be.
Talking about Colton, he's gaining about 0.2 of a second on the 21. So, be interesting to see if Colton kind of sneaks around and steals second place here.
Colton is incredible, buddy. When I started racing Colton about, that's a calendar years ago, about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. Probably 2 years, if being fair. Time goes by so fast. This guy, he was running 15th, 16th. On a good day, you definitely see him top 10. But you did not see this muscle out of him. This is somebody that's paid for training from some of the best. He's trained by Richard Regan Jr. and Abner Acosta, I believe. And those are 2 of the greatest drivers in all of sim racing. And you can see the progress, and I love that. That is one of the coolest things to me, is to see guys make that improvement. And you're seeing, oh, it's Colton yesterday, still giving us a little bit of throwback to his old style right there, and hitting the exit turn 4. And that might be all Buddy Sallee needs to hold on to second place. But that is all I think Buddy Sallee is going to do, as here we go with 2 to go. Stephen Kirby, and I mean, he hasn't led the most laps. That was Panzarella, but you don't need the most laps to be the dominant car. He has felt like the car to beat today.
Yeah, and the only lap that matters is that very last one off.
Yeah,
the 4.
I'd rather lead 1 if it was lap 120 than lead 58. I'll tell you that much. As Easter Day is going to collect the wall one more time, and that might be all she wrote for second place. But the white flag has waved for Stephen Kirby in this second exhibition race in the DDI RL, and that's going to also confirm that that is going to be between 240 laps. I can do that math, buddy. 1 caution. That is awesome. This league is just proving to be something that's going to be truly special. Some of the greatest drivers that iRacing has to offer, but also an iRating cap to make sure that we have that parity. And this is just an example of it. Stephen Kirby, one of the best world-class drivers in the C-Fix series, is going to take home the second ever DDI exhibition race here at Charlotte. And Buddy Sallee is going to hang on to second place. And Colton Easterday is going to take home his first, and already, even though this is only the second race, overdue podium, as Panzarella, the lap leader and pole sitter, are going to bring it home 4th. Just didn't have the long run speed. And man, I forgot to talk about this because I was looking at my relative. He barely held off Matt Novella. Matt Novella drove from 18 seconds back to only 3 seconds back in 5th place.
That's super impressive.
That's ridiculous, honestly. You need 5 more laps to win the race.
Yeah. 5 more laps would have made the difference.
And
but that's kind of where the strategy comes in, right?
Yeah.
And that might have been what Novella was seeing, how much time he can make up at the end if he pushed it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think there was a sweet spot for Buddy and Novella on the undercut and the overcut. And I think Buddy could have ran it, oh my goodness. Ran it about 3-4 laps longer, and maybe it would have paid out. Who knows? Maybe that wouldn't have been enough time to make the undercut successful. And then I think Novella could have ran it 3 or 4 laps less, and I think he would have had a better shot at it.
I think if Novella went kind of like you said, 3 or 4 laps less, I think we'd be looking at a different winner.
Yeah.
He was making up time like you couldn't believe on the relative.
I completely agree with that. Well, let's take a look at our finishing results for the second ever. And it's another doozy. I'm not going to lie. these long green flag races where we ended up with what, about 90 laps of green flag racing. That's how you end up with these crazy deltas and several cars lap down. So let's take a look here. The winner of the second ever DDI exhibition race. And man, it was a privilege to call a race for Stephen Kirby again today. I've only gotten to call one more. That's when he made a surprise appearance at BRL. And I hyped him up so much, buddy. I hyped this guy up so much. And then he just ran like 22nd all day. And I'm like, what the? So clearly, much like me, a totally different driver in the trucks. He is the next gen.
Oh, I didn't know. Do you know which series it was that he ran in BRL?
Oh, it was the Sunday night Sunday night Cup Series. Yep. And you're just chilling at 22nd the whole time. I'm like, is this the same Stephen Kirby? I had to check the race car, and there's a Daily Driver's Inc. logo on it. And I was like, oh, I guess it is. But yeah, I forgot to mention that too. He used to run for us.
Sometimes you get that whenever, like, you're a new guy to a league, you don't want to rub anyone the wrong way, so you kind of play patient. You don't, and depending on where in the season you kind of come into, you don't want to screw up anyone's playoff run, right?
That's a really good point. I think it was like right around the cut to like the playoffs, and I've been there too. But and like I think a lot of times too, because this is total like sidebar bias, but whatever. It totally. You don't realize that you're doing it, right? You don't realize that you're driving like a more timid version of yourself. So in your mind the whole time, you're just like, do I suck? Like, I've been racing in these other leagues and I've been doing really well. And I come over here to these guys and I'm not competitive. Do I suck? And then racing is it's all confidence, as you and I both know. So that doesn't help either.
Yeah, I run into that between, like me personally, I run into that on VRL and MRL. So usually pretty strong on Monday nights, and I struggle to do anything on Sunday mornings typically. I don't know what the difference is.
That's so true.
It's just a completely different group of people. So I've yet to put my finger on what the actual difference is between them, and like the competition's equal, so
Right?
I have no explanation.
It's a bizarre thing. I even see it all the time on Thursdays. You know, I've been a long time vet of the Thursday series, and you'll see someone coming over that, you know, maybe someone I broadcast for on Mondays, and I'm like, oh, no, this guy is so fast. And then I'm checking my relatives. I'm like, why is he in 17th? And I'm like, I guess he's just, I don't know. I think that's what it is. It's a weird thing. All right, we didn't even make it past first place. So Stephen Kirby, no surprise. I mean, and none of what we just talked about happened today. Man, Stephen Kirby, his first DDIRL race, and did not take him long to put his foot down and show the type of force he's going to be. Second place, Buddy Sallee, same thing there. MRL Cup Series champion, hasn't been in a truck in God knows how long. Still coming off an injury, and second place. So, gosh, it's not going to be easy to win in this league. Third place belonging to Colton Easterday. Easterday, I mean, look what happens when you don't speed. A great run by Easterday. Able to bring it home third place, and man, I'm going to be looking out for that guy, especially with this points format, which we'll talk a little bit about in just a bit. He's someone who I really feel like it's going to be good for. Fourth place, belonging to Panzarella, last week's winner and our pole sitter today. Just not having the long run speed, ends up fourth. Fifth, Matt Novella, someone who did have the long run speed, but we talked a little bit about that strategy. But now Matt Novella, someone I think is making the switch over to this league full time. That's going to be exciting. He is very, very fast in a truck. Sixth place, belonging to Cody Matthews. He is just continuing to improve. I think going through that phase that we kind of talked about just a couple of minutes ago, buddy, like Cody Matthews really only familiar with the other guys that you see with SWM under their name there on the right. So I think you're going to see more and more speed out of that 10 week in, week out. Seventh place, belonging to league admin Dalton Geyer. Eighth, Alex Hillman. Ninth, Graham McGivern. And 10th, the brother of Patrick Cowgill, Chris Cowgill.
Rounding out the next 16 or so, we got Jordan Finnegan in 11th, 12th Glenn Grigsby, 13th Juan Delgado, 14th Ryan Newman, 15th Mark Zabak. But that was who you're saying is Zab, right?
Yep, that's Zab, I guess.
Okay.
We're gonna have to get used to that.
Rounding out the field to the looks like he dropped out of the race maybe. 16th Patrick Cowgill. Yeah.
And then the guys with the unreliable race cars. Hunter Hall, that's a Daily Drivers Inc. race car, so that's more money for me. And Jared Kelly, thank God that's not coming out of my paycheck. But okay, let's take, before we let you guys out of here, we'll take one more look at the schedule. A couple more things I wanted to expand on here. Here you guys go. Then we'll let you out of here. So, first things first, make sure to scan that code right there, that QR code, or go to that Discord channel right there. They'll take you to the same place. If you loved what you saw and you want to be out here with us, this is a free league this year. And I am emphasizing this year, guys. This could end up being a league that costs money depending on the things we want to bring in here. But for the rookies of this league and the guys who are here from day one, our day ones, buddy, they are going to be enjoying a league free for as long as they want to be here. So make sure you're signed up for this league as early as you can. Not to mention, running these expeditions will lock in your number if it's available. So if your number, which is very important to me, buddy, is important to you, make sure you run one of these exhibitions. We've got one more left. We're going to be in Michigan next week. I don't know what that date is. June 11th? Yeah, June 11th. We'll be at Michigan, same time, same place, here in the VRN. But there is your look at the schedule one more time. So here's a couple things I just want to expand on real quick. First of all, the crown jewel races. What's the significance of those? First of all, trophies. I mean, like, who doesn't like a good trophy, right? I don't want to spoil too much because we're still working on some things here. But I can tell you, for example, the Indy Brickyard race, it's not a trophy, buddy. It's something else, and it's something I'd like a lot more than a trophy. And I freaking love trophies because I pay for all mine from KK Woodscapes. So I am excited to unveil that. We'll unveil that next week, what the trophies, or what the prizes, I should say, will be to win a crown jewel. But on top of that, they'll pay out 2x in-race bonus points. We'll also unveil next week what those bonus points are going to be. But I'll tell you guys right now, a few of them. In-race bonus points will be things like leading a lap, leading the most laps, 0xing, things like that will earn you in-race bonus points, and those will 2x on the crown jewel races. So those will be Daytona, the Indy Brickyard, and the final race of the regular season, which will be Dover. So after the regular season ends, we have those two exhibitions, which I kind of glossed over the first time we showed that. I'll let you all in a little secret, and you as well, buddy. I'm going to Italy those 2 weeks, so that's also why we're throwing you guys a Monza. I'm gonna come watch. I'll come watch. You know,
looking at this schedule, I gotta put you on the spotlight here for a second.
Yeah.
Down here, I see 44% fuel for road courses, but I don't see any road courses on the schedule, and I'm a road guy.
July 9th. Will be the road course race for this one. And that, again, is our driver vote.
Oh, that's the driver vote one, huh?
And street applies as well for the actually guys out there. But yeah, we will send that there. And yeah, put your vote in. And I want to know, buddy, what would you vote on between those three?
I'm going to have to zoom in because I'm partially blind and can't read.
Mid-Ohio, Sonoma, or Chicago Street?
Sonoma.
Wow, you're the first one who said that. I've asked a few people. I'm Chicago Street, not going to lie. I've never raced Sonoma. It's a track I go to all the time being from California. So it's one of those ones I think I know it, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? Like, I've been to it enough times. But I've never raced it in iRacing, so I'm very open to that. That's why I'm very excited for that vote.
If you're a technical track guy, Sonoma all the way.
Yeah.
All the
elevation changes.
Elevation changes, blind corners. Gotta pay attention to the throttle.
Because I can tell you in person, you look at those elevation changes and you go, that looks stupid. So I can only imagine what it feels like in a race car. Oh boy. So yeah. Go ahead.
For half the track, you can't see where you're turning, so you just have to.
Thank God I know that track. Thank God I know that track. It's kind of like Laguna Seca in that way, I guess, huh? Because I know Laguna Seca like the back of my hand, and thank God I do.
Kind of in the same sense. Like, Sonoma feels like that track, kind of, in a way.
Makes sense. Okay. Well, cast your vote, and to be eligible to vote, you must race an exhibition or be one of the guys who signed up, the initial sign up. So right now there's about 60 of you guys. So if that matters to you, sign up for this league and make sure and come race your exhibition in Michigan. Get your vote counted, and we'll announce the winner of that going into the regular season. We'll probably announce it at Daytona. So I'm gonna keep going down this list here. There'll be one drop race, and that's just for the regular season. So there will not be a drop race in the chase. And you see there on the bottom right of your screen, the chase starts September 10th. that schedule will come next week. So we're going to drop the chase schedule for you guys next week. I'll give you guys a little preview. It's 6 races. So that's what you guys get to know right now. It's a 6-race chase, and the top 10, as you see right there, will qualify for the chase. There's also a wild card rule that we're kind of working on, buddy. I'm not going to tell too much about that. I'll unveil that next week for the chase, but that's going to be exciting because there is no winning in here. We are running a kind of a modified playoff format that's a combination of the chase and the Winston Cup and the Final Four. And one thing I hate is when you're in. So that doesn't exist here. So there'll be no winning in here. I'm going to go quickly over this. We've talked about stage points already today. There will be stage points that pay out at 50%, and there will be no caution for the stage. And we've already talked about the 2x bonus points for crown jewels. So I'm going to kind of leave out some stuff about the chase. We'll get more into that next week, so I don't bore everyone too much. And in the bottom left, we talked a little bit about the 4 tire sets today. There will be 1 fast repair for this first season. I know people have different opinions on that, and I don't have one, to be honest, but I don't have an opinion on the fast repair thing. So like a lot of things in this league, it's going to be up to our drivers. But for this first season, to try to give all these a lot of beginners and also guys getting their feet wet in their first league a chance to really, I think for me, just run all the laps, right? Just get out there, get their feet wet, and run all the laps. We're gonna have that fast repair. We're considering, like, I guess I'll say this, there may be some bonus points for maybe not using that fast repair. There'll definitely be bonus points for 0xing races. So you'll be very encouraged not to think about that fast repair. But that is the initial Daily Drivers Inc. regular season schedule. It goes up to August 20th with a 2-week quote-unquote break. There will be exhibitions, and they will be broadcasted here on VRN for the 2 weeks that we take off in between the regular season and when the chase starts. To be clear, September 10th will be a race. But those 2 weeks, sign up, come hang out. They're going to be crazy, buddy, I guess. I'll unveil this too. Do you see how there are only 30 laps?
Yeah.
Those will have fun cautions. We are going to throw a caution at lap 15 for both of those. And you know what we're also going to do?
Oh, my goodness. What's that?
Oh, I can make it so much worse. And we're going to. Unlimited tires. Unlimited fast repairs. And no cautions.
Oh, man.
The only caution is the midway caution.
One of the most fun races that I've had happened last, I guess it was last Friday night. And imagine this, if you can. It was the new ARCA car at Talladega, no damage.
Shut up.
For 35 laps.
We should just turn damage. Like, do we turn fast repairs, or do we turn fast repairs to unlimited, or do we go no damage? Because no damage would be pretty hilarious at both those tracks.
Everyone blew up. I think we got maybe 3 green flag laps in because everyone was kind of, the ARCA car's new, so everyone's kind of pushing to see what can happen and what the car can handle and this
so
and
much
that.
since then.
Because
Everyone's really grasped the ARCA car, right, buddy? Like we saw last Friday.
As long as you're still in the track and not upside down, you don't got to pit.
That's important.
So you just kind of catch up to the field and hope you survive another lap.
And create more havoc. I mean, I kind of like the no damage idea. I mean, like, one thing that's gonna be different. These dudes are running green 5 laps because we're doing this S word street stock style, bruh. We're going no caution. So if you're upside down, that toe's gonna suck for you, my friend. But hey, with no damage. This sim shouldn't even let that be available to us. Why would they give that to us? A bunch of talented race car drivers with no damage. Oh my goodness.
I can say before running anything like that, you might want to have a few sips of your favorite beverage.
Oh, there is 0 reason to be sober for that race, my friends. Maybe we'll even give awards for like driver cams that drink the most. Because yeah, I mean, you can tell by the tracks we're doing here, the iRacing Super Speedway. If you haven't raced there, I can't talk about that track without laughing. I won a race there once, buddy, and I was in 26th with 3 to go, and I won. So that should tell you a little bit about that track. I think about 8 people finished. And the Monza Oval, we just thought that'd be cute because, you know, it's the Zacca's in Italy 100. So again, I can go watch you guys wherever the Monza Oval is if it still exists. I don't know anything about Italy, to be fully honest.
I don't think I've ever. I don't think I've ever even raced that track. I might not even own it.
I did it once to memorialize Kyle Larson's career, and it's rough. It's thin. It's like if you made Dover 2.5 miles. That's the best way I could describe it. And I'll let your imagination run wild with that. And
Dover is a fun track, though.
It is. But yeah, okay. Before we go into, you and I just need a podcast to just shoot the crap about all the insanity we've been through on this insane platform. But the September 10th chase will start, and so you did. I do appreciate actually, buddy, you bringing up the road course thing, because I will say this too as well. The chase is going to be a good mix of that, guys. So for those of you who have been in these exhibitions and you're feeling good about your chances, make sure you're a well-rounded driver. We're going to be turning right in the chase once. So make sure you're ready for that. I'd venture to guess that most people could assume and be right about what track we're going to based on the choices for July 9th. It's not one of those. But I'll let you guys make those assumptions until next week. But I hope you guys love this schedule. We're always open to feedback. We're going to obviously run with this one for this week. I believe, just real quick too, I think it's Pocono, Kentucky, Dover, Richmond, and I think Dega are the official races that you guys will be able to get some extra practice for. And we're planning on opening up practice sessions for those of you who want extra practice. If there's some interest in that, we're more than happy to pay for those sessions and open up some 2 or 3 hour sessions that will be similar to the race conditions, so you guys can get those extra reps in. This league is all about showcasing the best of, I mean, I'm not sure if you know this, buddy, but, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I saw this somewhere that under 3,000 makes up 95% of the iRacing overall roster. So we are showcasing what I truly believe is about the top 5%, or the top, I guess, 10% on the top end of this league is what you're seeing with Stephen Kirby, with Buddy Sallee, with Patrick Cowgill. I don't want to say my own name there. Dalton Geyer, and plenty of other drivers in here. Alex Hillman calling yesterday. The list goes on. I'm literally thinking about most of the roster.
The statistics on that is actually kind of crazy whenever you think about it. Because you are correct.
Oh, yeah, like, sweet. Thank God. 3,000
and above, like, make up 5%. And for every 1,000 after that, I think 4,000 and above or 5,000 above is like 1% or half of a percent or something. It's insane.
45 is the mark where I think it becomes 1, which is nuts. Like, hard to even fathom, but I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you and I, what's your overall highest you've ever been?
2350, I think.
Nice.
But I don't race officials.
Yeah, I'd say you're probably 29. My highest I've ever gotten was 31, and man, it felt like every race you were racing for iRating, if you know what I mean. Like, it felt like I was grasping onto that 31 with everything I had. Meanwhile, you know, you're showing up to your league races and you're racing for wins, and you're just like, man, there's so much talent out there.
You know the way that you kind of got to approach it, right? Run NIS.
Yeah,
it's going to put you. It's going to put you level with your number, but if you're running leagues, you're going to be way above what your number is.
It's very true. You see it a lot. Well, I will say that too about this league, and I mean, we'll just gloss over you, me, and Steven, and a lot of other guys in this league. But I mean, I don't want to say any names, but there's some other leagues that we cover that have caps and that situation you described, and they're in the 1%. I guess I'll leave it at that.
It's rough sometimes.
It can be, and I mean, I get it too, though. Like, man, buddy, I have like 300 official races, and I haven't done one in months.
Yeah. Do you know how many officials I have? Like official starts?
How many?
Like 85. Do you know how many official wins I have? 2, and they came from dirt.
That's insane. And then, meanwhile, if you go back there with your, what is it, 2,200 iRating, oh my God, people are like, Smurf, you're gonna have some painted skin, my friend. Yeah, it really is a funny thing about officials. And whenever I go back to them, I will say this too, and just to kind of circle back to this league, man, because like I said, I have about 300 on my belt, buddy. Yeah, I used to love them. I will say this. I credit officials very much to when I took that next step. And especially when I hit that 2900 mark, and you know how it is. You're just, or actually at 23, you know how this is. You're always in top splits, man. Especially certain weeks. You're always in top splits. So, you know, I'm racing against Carson Hosts of our multiple times a week. I'm racing against, we were talking about, what's his name? Logan Clampett all the time. I'm racing against guys that are on TV, whether it be in a real race car or thousands of people watching them. I'm sorry, for what they do virtually. Not to mention most of the races that you're racing are broadcasted anyway because you're in a top split. So that is where I made my next. Oh, sorry, that's where I made my next step. I mean, weirdly, you know, finishing 18th in a 22-person race, like, it really helped me because then I'd show up to a league and I'd be like, oh my god, I'm in second. This is what this feels like.
That right. So a lot of the things that I attribute to my official problems is it's only been recently that I started working days, kind of having a normal life schedule and all this. I used to work overnight, so I used to race officials mainly in the middle of the night. And what happens there? A lot of times you get single splits.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you're in the top split or not, you might have someone at the bottom at 700, and you might have someone at the top at 6,500.
Yep.
And that's just
that Ryan Clenny guy, always racing at like 1 in the morning.
It's just part of it, and
it feels like a league race with no cap sometimes.
I can't touch anything with those 5 and 6K guys.
They're aliens. It's really like that way to describe them, and that nickname that they have is so applicable. Because my goodness, I don't know how they do it. I don't think I have enough time in my life, and I think it's probably a good thing not to be that good. I'm not gonna lie, unless you're just that gifted. If you are, then good for you. But yeah, I'd like to think that a lot of the guys in this league are that gifted if they also had 8 hours a day to dedicate to this simulator. But that's what these leagues are for, is the guys that I truly think, if they had the opportunity to put in those hours, would be compete with these guys. Because, you know, we've had our days in the sun. Sometimes they make a bad tire decision or something happens to them and we beat them. Hey, I won a race yesterday and I beat a 4.3. I was like, I can't believe I just did that. So hey,
some
happens.
People like me hit a parked car in the middle of the track while under green.
And also, when you beat a 4.3K as one of us, like, it doesn't matter the details of how it happened. It just happened. So I mean, it doesn't matter if you got wrecked like twice and still almost beat me. None of that matters. But this league is going to be, I mean, the parity is already so obvious. It is looking incredible. So one more exhibition race that's going to be at Michigan, and we're going to send out a vote again. So join the Discord there. You see in the bottom, scan that code, or just go to that link there in the bottom. We're going to take a vote between Legacy Michigan, if it's still around next week, which I think it will be, or Modern Michigan, and we'll let you guys decide which one we want to race at next week. But man, I'm excited. Another amazing race and another solid field, and also a lot of new faces, buddy. And what I'm loving, and again, these are exhibitions, and for a private exhibition, I'm loving these numbers because I really do think when we start racing for points, we're going to have no trouble pulling in 25, 30 car fields, and it's going to be ridiculous amounts of talent up top and incredible amounts of just parity throughout the field. And I think a lot of guys are going to really fast track their learning process who are new to iRacing just by sharing the track with a lot of the guys in this league. So I'm excited. Any final thoughts you want to throw out before we get out of here?
I don't have a whole lot of final thoughts. The racing was clean. Everyone respected each other. Everyone apologized whenever they did something that might have been questionable. One of the things that you said was the talent during the regular season and the car numbers, and I can already tell just by the league that I raced in before and what I raced in tonight. It's definitely going to be a place to be able to learn. So whether someone's new or might not be comfortable with this or that, seems like a good place to kind of start out at, I think, in my honest opinion.
I think so too. I think a lot of guys are gonna add to their trophy case in this league, and I think a lot of guys are gonna collect their first trophies of their career in this league. And I think that schedule right here is gonna give a lot of those opportunities for these guys. A lot of tracks that are kind of set the playing field very even. Obviously, Daytona and Talladega, and I'm excited to see what these guys can do turning right at Charlotte, Mid-Ohio, Sonoma, or Chicago Street. But that's going to do it today for us. I want to thank all of our sponsors over at the, all of our partners as well, first of all, BRL and MRL. Those two leagues that have really, really helped uplift this league and giving us a chance to grow. All of our sponsors over at Daily Drivers Inc., Tuner Squad, KK Woodscapes, BRN, Salmon Amateur Stores, and if I'm forgetting any, I apologize. I don't think I am. One more shout out to the friends and family of Dennis Puckett and our family over at BRL. We are still just as heart-shattered over that as all you guys are. And we are looking forward to the opportunity to honor Dennis this season and carry on his legacy and have a memorial race that I think will really, he'll be looking down at us with a smile on his face at his hometown and his favorite track, and my favorite track as well, Dennis. Must be something about the 12. But all the love in the world to the Puckett family and the BRL family. And thank you all for joining us. This is just the beginning, everybody. We got one more exhibition race. You got your schedule for the regular season, and we are getting ready to really get this thing going here. The Daily Drivers Inc. Racing League, the newest, hottest, most competitive, cleanest, every good adjective you can think of league out here in the iRacing community, and we could not be more excited for the future of this league. We will see you guys soon. We will see you next week at Michigan. We love you all, and we will also see you on Sunday in the BRL. But until next Wednesday, we'll see you in Michigan from Daily Drivers Inc.